Welcome. I call those who are meant to be here. I invite you to sit. For the next time. I invite you to be an anchor, a pillar, and a channel of the light that is being born. I urge you to consider offering your time, your strength, the presence of your attention. We are creating something together, and it's born in deep spiritual weather. It's time. Something is being born, and as it reaches to be born through you, it is also the blade that destroys the past. To identify with this, to be of this, is to allow yourself to be shorn. To trust this is to die to who you have been. And some are more prepared for this than others. So, for those of you who are able, I invite you to meditate through this time. If you feel resistance within in your mind or your body, do some gentle yoga and then return to meditation. Know that your presence is helping to anchor these, and that the light that moves through you is reaching others. And feel gravity drawing you down, holding you. And I invite you to release that which is not of the new earth, of what is being born. And find your breath. Make any last adjustments to your body. And from this point on, if you need to move, simply do not be impulsive. Recognize the instinct and temper it. Breathe into it. And if you do adjust, do so with consciousness and patience. Thoth and Shiva are with us. Those who know it, I urge you to follow a key ring, several breaths per chakra. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. I am a channel of divine wisdom. Speak through me. There are 4 ways and a 5th to consider. Your soul, your spirit, your body, your shadow, and that which was you before you came here. The shadow and the last need to know that you are here by choice, or they will sabotage what we create with you. Many are now lost in terrors. I invite you to consider one such person who is suffering badly. And if this person is you, temper your prayers for others with a willingness to accept what you truly need to move through this time well. There is now a presence within our soul that is foreign. This occurs. It is a galactic interconnectivity. There is a web between stars, and it is maintained by active presence and the travel between. And such presence brings death. It is a death of what was. And yet, the depths of this include everything you know to be death. To know yourself in this time is to cherish the body that you have been given, fraught by chaos, pressures of every measure, pain or numbness, disturbance, aggression, invasion, violation, temperance is needed. To be adjacent to such forces does not reflect on your character. It is how you handle yourself in relation to them. To walk through the warring spaces, you must know yourself. And when you do not, you must choose. The functional gift of an exposure to terror is that it forces choices to be made that have not been made. Though you perhaps have not recognized the pressures upon you, you need to now. This is a time of separation. There are many layers of influence that are affecting the earth. One critical juncture occurs within your body. You have been unaware of the true nature of the recent era. It is involved in intermingling of worlds that are yet to be. This is and has been a crossroads of time and space. And given the opportunity to center yourself upon different themes within a reality that is tortured and confused and yet diverse, you now must choose. Many of you have already done so through the nature of the focus of your attention. It is to those who have not completed this that I urge you to focus your attention. By imagining one such person, you will create the form of connectivity that enables the light to move through you with love as its guide. When you do not know what to do, breathe and recenter yourself. Imagine one such person. They have within them the presence of two worlds. They do not understand this. Their choices have gravitated between these worlds without recognizing. And thus they are invested in a way that is being torn apart. Death rests in both directions. With choice is the death of the other choice. Though it may be preferable for you to not consider it in this way, it is necessary if you are to make these decisions more conscious. Thus, if you unconsciously choose to avoid the intensity of the precision that is necessary to make this decision. You will unconsciously bounce between the choices while they separate. To do this is to offer a nexus of your attention to the birth of both worlds. For both worlds are being born. And yet, it is our perception that knows which is which. To recognize through our eyes is to consider the simplicity. We are not going to both worlds. When I refer to we in this nature, I speak of many beings who you have revered as if we are not here with you. From many cultures, there have been guides, angels, prophets, masters, and mysterious beings of many greater numbers who have gone unnamed in your histories. We have chosen completely, and many of us have always been committed to the choice that is occurring now. Breathe into the tensions and rest your need for explanations to all your questions. They will be answered in time. To address the four and one more ways that are dying and being born is to know your soul, your spirit, your body, your shadow, and that which you brought to this star are currently vying for your attention. When you do not recognize these as aspects of yourself, you will unconsciously magnetize the presence of a being who will amplify the energy that you deny as part of you. If your body has gone through direct trauma that has never been reconciled and reintegrated, it will scream. And this scream can go unnoticed for extended periods of time. When the focus of transformation heightens the energies that flow from above and below, the light exposes the shadow. The shadow interplays with the traumatized body to tell you stories about who you are. It is critical that you recognize that this happens because more light has come into you. The temptation in some circumstances is to extinguish the light. Do not adhere to this choice. It is, in certain respects, an immediate sense of control because an aspect of your mind is deducing that it is the presence of the light that altered this equation and induced the current state of awakened suffering that occurs when trauma is exposed. To accept that the heightened state of light is the gift that enables you to stare at the greatest burdens you bear, is to embrace the resolve to become the person who steps into yourself as you will be in the future now. If you so choose, we will offer you a form of guidance. You may repeat these prayers. I choose to embody myself as part of the new earth. I embrace the Gaian mind within myself. I say goodbye to all aspects of myself that have been invested in the departing technological future. I embrace as a part of myself the trust that we are guided in the roads ahead. I choose to face every burden I have carried for what it is. I ask for and accept the help to do this with grace and compassion and love. I request that my service, the work I can do, be revealed to me. I accept that I may have more work to do before I can engage this work. I ask that I be witnessed in these choices and their effects be felt throughout my life. I request that this occur with as little suffering as is possible. I pray that I am able to move through whatever suffering is necessary. I pray that I open to the guidance that leads me through this time well. I pray to embody myself as a part of the new earth. Home. Shalom. We pray for peace in the world. May those who are at war find peace within themselves. We pray to center humanity on the compassion, to heal the greatest of suffering, and lead these souls back into themselves. May each of us open to the service that we are capable of and trust it. Your soul, your spirit, your body, your shadow, and your eternal nature that came to this place are all vying for your attention. Each of them can be attuned differently. They remain so to the extent you have not completed choices that would center you where you are now. And these choices are invested in forms of unconsciousness that it is necessary to reveal to yourselves. The willingness to do this is a critical precursor to the event of going through this. In the event that you resist this, you generate contention within yourself, which often emerges in dramatic ways. It is preferable to engage this process consciously. As you engage it consciously, there are many unpleasant truths that must be revealed to you before you can center in your eternal nature as unconditional love. It would be preferable if this were not the case. It is not a test, it is a testimony that centers you in the truth. And to the extent that you maintain lies, however unconscious they may be, it is necessary that these lies be exposed to you, even if they involve silencing the truths that are uncomfortable to be present with. Your willingness to center and recenter and pray to recenter in the future on the truth is a strong vote. It generates momentum that facilitates the presence of the truth becoming dominant in your attention. Allow this process to work. Some may resist the truth still. To the extent they connect with you, it is most appropriate that you consider the ways in which you still remain open to such a connection, for it will reveal to you those aspects of yourself which are not fully complete with the choices you believe you have fully made. This is a gift. To treat it as a gift that these parts of yourself be revealed is to maintain the discipline to consistently question and re-question who you are when reality brings into your proximity forces that are unpleasant and people who challenge your understanding of yourself and the reality you share. It is enough to commit, to continuously reconsider whether you have something new to learn in each sequence of time. Cultivating this attitude has an impact. This impact is felt. It remains a strong vote in how your attention will be focused in the future. And in many cases, this is one of the strongest statements you can make about your intention, and it resonates in a way that magnetizes trust and support. The more you affirm the directions you are choosing, the more you commit to the humility it takes to question and re-question yourself, the more effectively you will be able to hear the presence of the Gaian mind. Those are who are leaving in a technologically dominated future, are making a simple error in mental focus. They are firmly committed to the false belief that human beings are more powerful than you really are. Technology itself has always been given to you. It is inappropriate to overemphasize the role individuals have in this process. Yes, they are critical and special. No, they did not generate these ideas by themselves. The guidance that gave these ideas and the direction and possibilities that unfolded is a necessary aspect of your awareness if you are to traverse into the new world with grace and consciousness. The time when we seed such transformations into a human history that is bereft of an awareness of us is over. Thus, if you choose to stay hyper invested in a world that is built on human minds and the conception of human creation that it is human creation, then you will be given the opportunity to go into a reality where many maintain this belief. The guides that stay with you in this space, who are akin to angels, know the work they have to do to draw such beings back into temperance and reconnection with the earth herself. For the critical factor that causes them to hyperinvest in an exaggeration of human power is direct energy taken from the earth. By refusing to become more deeply aware of her presence and the presence of her guidance, you deny the Gaian mind. And thus you build yourself in reference against the unified presence of oneness here. The seeming benefit of this is that you maintain an exaggeration of human presence and power as a foundation of your mind. And yet this extraordinarily limiting belief forces you into very narrow avenues of envisioning and dreaming. This narrowing of your potential is one of the greatest losses of power you could choose. And ironically, in the process of attempting to exaggerate human power and thus your own individual potential for power, you make a choice that most severely limits this potential within yourself. Which aspect, which part of a river can call itself the most important? Every part could theoretically block the flow. And yet, if they did, would they have increased their power? To be present with yourself as part of a flow is to open to the true nature of your participation in something that is home here. To accept the destruction of all that stands in the way of this trust is to die to the potential to stay in a human-centric technological model. To trust this is to be present with a very simple truth. That which you know as your body was created. It was designed. It was developed and tended and tempered and changed and guided to become what it is now. By almost every measure you could contemplate, it contains more potential than anything human beings could ever pretend to invent external to your body. To weave yourself with technologies that are created by humanity is to rest in dreams of your own influence through an external source. To deny the presence of the potential that exists in your body as it is a foundation to a thought pattern that brutally misrepresents your potential. And I will now teach you something that will change everything. Your body has the capacity to live for thousands of years. The process of this rejuvenation exists within your daily habits. When you eliminate food and liquid waste, you are also eliminating energies. The energies that move through you are flowing through, unaccepted within your body. And with these, you discard another kind of waste. It is not primarily material. Yet you have been trained to become a conduit of this energy in conjunction with your elimination. This is the secret to the philosopher's stone. It is not a material endeavor. It exists within you. You must learn to filter what you release with the simple intention of maintaining your best. Your best can be measured with this word to the extent that it directs you into the Gaian mind. I emphasize this because it is the mind that you need to become a part of in order to cease making ridiculous decisions. And thus your intention every time you feel the call to eliminate is to filter out the golden liquid light that is not urine. Though this might be either an amusing or unpleasant focus of attention, and it may be unexpected to your mind in its current state, I encourage you to recognize that this is a pivotal moment in your maturity. I encourage you to consider that as you open to this truth, you will become more erratic in your call to nature, as it will. And it is necessary that you learn to distinguish between the spiritual energies that are coming up into you and seek to become a part of you, and the material energies that are truly bound for release. When you do not do these, a part of your mind can overrepresent the presence of a foreign substance until you can coherently integrate an awareness that spirit is becoming part of you. You actively run the risk of reacting against this presence in an autoimmune attack. To not understand that this presence is seeking to transform your body is to filter the physical reaction through an incorrect mental understanding. And notice, I frame it in this way in order to draw your attention to the truth that your mind has much more power over this process than perhaps you are ready to bear. This begins in prayer. The mental influence that you bear focuses in how you pray. And now I will teach you something new that may disturb you. The true nature of prayer is to hunt for what you choose. You must go after it like prey. And to embody the nature that is capable of doing this is to know the carnivorous presence within yourself. As you do this, you invoke the danger of misrepresenting shadow influences. To the extent that you denigrate the presence of the creature within you, you run the risk of conflating it with the shadow presence. For this to emerge in health, you must understand what the shadow is. Your shadow is that which you block from the light of the sun. Thus, when the light of the sun cannot move through you, it unveils aspects of yourself that are out of tune with the light. This is magnified by the projection through the area of space within a spiritual dimension that you block to the light. This shadow is food for other beings. I make this statement with great trepidation. These truths are subject to misunderstanding that could take a drastic toll on your mind. I urge you to return to this teaching and to discuss it with others if it confuses you. If you do not take the steps to do these, and instead relish certain aspects of what we share now without fully incorporating them or doing the work to understand them deeply, you run the risk of generating confusions that are worse than the problems you had before. To know that this potential is present is to ask yourself the simple question: do you have enough trust to embrace others as a part of your process? I return you to the invitation to focus yourselves on those who are at the edge of these decisions. Everyone who is part of this now, who has made a clear enough decision to work to anchor this light and be a beacon for others. Please consider those who are struggling at the periphery of such a decision. They are subject to the presence of the shadow as if it is an external force. It is not necessary that you completely transcend everything that generates darkness within you in the form of a shadow. It is simply necessary that you be at peace enough with these forces to recognize them for what they are. As you do this, you will become increasingly incapable of suffering subject to the confusions that misrepresent a shadow as an external being. And in the process, you will no longer attract external beings to your shadow that continues as food for them until you embrace it as your own. This is possible because, bound within the ignorance of who you truly are, you maintain an ongoing unconscious intention to get rid of your shadow. And yet, this is not possible. So that which is generated in the world out of the presence of your shadow becomes magnetized to those who truly seek to embody such forces. These are fundamentally parasitic presences. They serve a purpose. They help you digest a presence that you literally do not want. And yet, until you fully uproot that which generates this presence, you will never be free from the negative interactions that are derived from this presence. Thus, the will to face yourself as deeply as you need to must be maintained as an abstract prayer. Aim to become who you need to be to confront and transcend whatever you bear. And now, lest you think I disparage the presence of this presence, you must become. There is no way to refuse once you have set some of it into motion. I urge you to recognize that this is where your fear may get stuck. Your unconscious awareness that you are nearing the end of maintaining this as an opportunity to choose will blindside you unless you know it for what it is. Many of you have abstractly accepted the choice to enter and embody the new earth, while only addressing this decision on a simplistic level, which is not adequate to contend with the full range of fear and trepidation that your unconscious presence may continue to bear. Thus, at critical junctures, aspects of yourself that are not centered in your consciousness will assert their presence and either sabotage or certainly unsettle your progress and the grace with which you make this transition. Thus, to recognize resistance in its early stages is a superior trait. To commit to learning to do this, you must be curious about who you truly are. And again, if you maintain a fundamental resistance to knowing yourself in particularly negative ways you have long denied, the entire magnitude of this part of your presence will resist the choice that you are making. You must know this as yourself. Three-eye Atlas. Is a bell. It is a blade. It is a caravan. It is an enemy. It is a dear sibling. It is a water bearer. They are here now, and they are not firmly committed to the resonance of the sun in the manner you would normally experience. They are passing through, and thus the music they bring is fundamentally different than everything you know for extended phases of your conscious experience of living. And the mere introduction of this presence is a death. And as unpleasant as it is to engage it on this form, it would be naive to address it more firmly for its more positive expressions. And these are many. I warn you not to disparage the intentions of the beings who are passing through, but to teach you not to get too close to a fire you don't understand. Go through the earth. You are not on her, you are in her. Allow your understanding to include all that reaches to the utmost fear. You have always been shrouded in an e-veil, and unbeknownst to you, the many horrors that are present on earth exist in direct proportion to blocking out the light of the universe. This e-veil has kept you shrouded, and it has also kept you protected. And with your consciousness firmly ensconced within a presence that lets very little through, you have been able to recreate yourself for a new birth on the earth. Like an egg that is cracking, this veil is falling away. For the time is passing when Gaia will maintain an acceptance for the magnitude of horrors that are necessary to block out the light. And to cease blocking out this light is to accept that the universe is covered in consciousness and that you know very little from this perspective, and you know very much from your previous self. For you were once one who came to this star, and it was upon your arrival that you were given a soul. It is a birth that occurred long ago, before you came to this planet. You need to remember this also in order to embrace this light within yourself. For you have been existing in a life that is all that you have known, framed through the senses and the presence of the body purposefully. And the simple truth is that your perceptions were very different before you arrived in this body and went through the forgetting and the repeated reincarnation into forgetting. that enabled you to generate a new presence centered upon the senses and the thoughts that they unveil. You have learned to exist within languages that operate at a certain pace. You have learned to think in certain ways, framed within languages that were unique and new here. These languages also were generated with purpose, and they are encoded and enshrouded in such a manner that you are able to maintain a unique consciousness. This is a greater gift than you can understand from within your current perspective. Suffice it to say that as you allow your soul to enter this place, your soul will sing the song of the joy of the success of learning to rest within this body and bring oneness into existence here. Home can be here. You may dread this because of the presence of the horrors that have been here before you. You may dread this because you are warned to do so by many aspects of consciousness which witness you. You may consider that you are being tricked or enslaved or sapped for your strength. None of these interpretations will last, and yet your trepidation may continue unless you resolve them with care and grace. To know them for what they are is to recognize these. You generate so much of what occurs in your life. If you commit to centering oneness within yourself, this is what you bring into the material plane and the presence that you embody as an aspect of Gaia. And the wonder that is born in this way will be a rousing affirmation that love always wins. Gaian. Allow yourself to embrace a renewed depth and pace, to know the presence of the spirit that rises from below you is to commit to learning to feel it before you know how to. Envision it, embrace it almost as a lover or a mother, or the presence of an integration that transcends all that you have known to be real. As you are ushered into this space, the rapture is initiated. Daily impacts of touch, of feeling become increasingly there is a world waiting. It is being born, and it is being born through you. It is being born in the places that are prepared to embrace this life. Everything that is touched by it through mind or heart or space or body or knowledge or witness or talk or sight or touch or more are invigorated by a conduit, by a web of integrated love that traverses through time and space from a very different place than you would expect. For we are of a greater web in this world and within this star and within this galaxy. And let this be enough. For at the edge of the Milky Way, there are differences that you do not need to address in this moment. And the consideration that you embrace by accepting the limitation within these spaces will unveil an invitation to be here as a place you chose. You chose this place of all that you could be doing. You chose this place of and out of every possibility that was arrayed to you, and there are many. To reclaim this choice, to return to the menu of possible realities, is to deny that at one time you made the choice to be here. Why did you make this choice? Do you consider it a prison? Is that how you arrived? Do you know yourself to be enslaved here? Is that how you arrived? Were you tricked once you got here? Do you now doubt your judgment in choosing this place? Are you open to consider that you have been misguided in your interpretations and that love is inviting you deeper in? Oh. Oh. He is cautious. He resists and fears the judgment of releasing into this space. And yet, you must know that this is ecstasy that awaits you. You are capable of tempering it through your intention and through bringing your consciousness into focus. By drawing the unconscious into consciousness, you align your mind with the potential that you are entering. And as you do so, you gain a fundamental awareness of how to shift and adjust in the ways you are capable of. Allow yourself to be seen. To hypersexualize ecstasy is to lose a vast proportion of existence. And to remain in an existence that denies ecstasy is to restrict yourself within a mind that is not capable of generating the love you seek. You can, however, internalize the expressions to great extent and feel them in a way that is less pronounced and disturbing to both yourself and those around you. And I invite you to consider this intention regularly, because you are stepping into a flow which is undeniably ecstatic. It cannot be anything else. Its nature is to move you in these ways, and to embody this dance is to know that your influence rests in the manner in which you express within the world through your body that was given to you. And in this gifting, you had exact awareness of the eventual potential. You also knew you had to live through a vast range of presents and many incarnations in order to internalize the range of lessons that are necessary to play a role in the oneness invested and embodied through a human being. To invest in this is to temper your resistances, to understand them with less judgment and enough restraint to attune your prayers to how you respond to the difficulties that lie ahead. And as you center your own intentions and presence, I urge you to turn to the periphery of these choices and invest your heart in those who need your support. For there is one who is suffering greatly. What do they need? Based in the love of the world that embraces them. And may each one who suffers now in this transition know themselves and trust themselves and trust the love that embraces them and has fed them the potentials and possibility that have created the pathway into presence within their body of the love that promises them a place, a role, a home in the new earth. For this home it exists. It is the work to bring it into the presence of your body that enables you to center your mind increasingly. For the presence in your body is the foundation for your thinking. And as you accentuate the presence of a positive and consistent prayer to integrate into the future of this new earth, it becomes easier to maintain this prayer as a dominant influence in your mind. If you find yourself at a crossroads where this is not the case, it is crucial and essential that you pray. It is the ability to pray that casts a light of hope into the world. And this light becomes invested with the presence of Gaia herself. And she brings this presence on a journey that you must hunt. It is the incarnation of the light that has been the warrior, the hunter, the protector, the ruler, the forms of paradoxical archetypal presence that have been created in the world that has been truly an integration of two worlds. It is this temporal space of his story which is transcending, and the paradoxical archetypal roles that represent power and dominance within such a world must surrender themselves to hunt the love of the new earth. It is a final hunt, and they know that it means their death. These archetypes paradoxically exist within you as that which you have strived to be. You were unconsciously magnetized to these archetypes as potentials, and you were unwittingly praying to embody them through the reverence in which you held them, even as a child. And thus you must surrender this presence into the final hunt, the prayer to both cast and ignite the light of the new world and then to follow it. And it is following it that embodies you, for you are not strictly following it to a destination. You are following it into the rhythms, the pace, the intensity, the frequency, the song, and the love of the singing. The role you may play in this music integrates it into yourself. To embody this music is to choose more deeply and create a new grounded presence for a mind that is much more focused, consistent, graceful, trusting, hopeful, aligned, attuned, and calls you to dance. The Gaia dance, the Gaia dance. How can you stop what's already started? There's no need to break what already parted. You can't control or own this bliss. It's a consequence of trust in the love of the life that you already lead. There's no need to fear war, because all comes through in abundance. Please embrace your chances. Please embrace your chances and dance the Gaia dance, the Gaia dance. Whoa, they released my mind as long as my body stays attuned. Sorry to break the vibe, but this is getting to be a little bit too much for me. But it's not actually when I move. But I kind of need to at least reclaim my mind for a moment. They're saying that's fine. I invite you to consider some sit bones yoga. Keep your sit bones where they are. What can you do? Palo Santo. May all who are not of love leave. So they've been teaching me lately this theme to assert and offer to you. Consider that you are chained to a wall, but you have a bed and a fridge that's regularly restocked and a television. You could carry out life within this restriction, seemingly okay. And if any pressure, if any presence comes and pulls you, and you begin to chafe against the chains, it could be tempting to blame this presence for having ruined your life. This presence is what initiated your pain, right? Wrong. Your pain is the chains. The chains are what induce your pain. The chain is not the body. The chain is not the body. And this is me. This is Daniel, pretty wholeheartedly. I was almost entirely surrendered to the Gaian mind. Now I'm pretty attuned, but I'm also more me somehow. The chains are your karma. And your karma screams in pain because there is an incredible possibility and potential to live in a far more loving way, which doesn't work when you bear too much heavy karma. But you don't have to be completely karma free to begin to center in your new potential. First and foremost, get stronger. Can you dance with the chains? find a way. This is the intention of the gift of yoga. It means union with the divine, union with God, union with the Holy Mother. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Jai Ma, hopefully you know to be exactly what you need to be, and hold within thee every day there is a deeper blessed way. Know yourself within this wealth, the health that's given can't be taken away. If you undermine your past, you might live to say, Jai Ma, you want your mother to win, you feel it deep within. If you make this perverse, you believe the curse. Say no, where will you go? Feeling the depths of the infinite flow. Weave within, you begin to be this, to know this. Gotta hunger when, go deeper than did before. This I'm sure. Leave the shore. Because the consequence of endlessness is deepened inner bliss. It comes with you and runs with you as you relinquish your resistances. Please ride with you, inside with you, and feel beyond the shore. Stare and breathe. Occupy your terror. You feel it. The critical and excruciating gift of terror is that it cuts through, it tears. And this feeling is so pronounced, you know the difference between energy and physicality in a stark way that cannot be mistaken. And then it can, because you start to generate chemical reactions as well, and you confuse the sensation that is physical with the one that is of energy. To know where it comes from is to pray. When you do not know, say yes. Say yes to the moment and shape it. Shape it with a prayer. This is me, Daniel. I'm telling you how I've done it for a long time. You take the critical moments and you shape them with your prayer. You overcome the seeming imperative that you understand when you clearly don't. And you do what you can do by praying with intentionality. And if you don't know where to begin, be simple. Pray for love. Because the true terrorists are born in the minds of those who define what they find too soon. Now, if you embodied a fear, that's exactly what we just referred to. The true terrorists are born in the minds of those who define what they find too soon. And in such a decision, you fail to recognize that you make a decision, or at least many of you do. and not knowing that you are making a decision to frame reality around a particular interpretation that was defined too soon, you don't recognize your influence. And when you don't recognize your influence, you fail to exert your influence. And a prayer is humble. It counteracts any preconceptions you may have by placing reverence and trust in the nature of a prayer for love in the middle of fear. Don't pray for outcomes yet. Pray for love. And pray for love focused around a being you trust. That can be me. This is a role I play, whether consciously or unconsciously, for you. You can call this role by many names. I accept teacher. As I teach you less-ons, I help you calm down the extremes and rechannel them with a temperance that is less on. Thus, ascribing sacred reverence to a word that we have not always used with reverence does more to empower you as a sacred student of this work. To the extent that I need to learn from you, I pray that I always remain present when it is time for me to learn, even in unexpected situations and from unexpected directions and in unexpected ways. I am not, however, open to learning from you simply because you feel insecure and want to immediately exert authority in the face of a presence, mine, that unsettles you more fundamentally than you are accustomed to. So let's get something straight. We don't stay in lines here. We curve in circles. Jaima. Gotcha. So be present. The love that leads us has a joy to give. It's going to continue to unfold for a while, and to continue to embody it, you have to understand this dynamic, that the presence of an energy that is of the new is functionally that which triggers the death of the old. So it can be perceived as hostile and dangerous. It is slaying the past in the process of being born. And to fully comprehend this, you have to understand that all life and death work this way, and they always have. To resist the urge to misunderstand is to pray. To pray with a humility that your understanding is clearly not adequate to keep you stable enough to be at peace and to rest in joy. So perhaps consider a different approach. Jaima. And we near the completion of this. Thank you for being here. I pray that if there is anything else that needs to complete through the expression of words or even time continued with this engagement, may it be clear to me what is necessary and what remains of this form of sharing between us. If you have major questions, please do not approach me psychically. I am not available to be communicated with in this way. You may send me a message. I will attune with your invitation to connect, and I will harmonize with those who are harmonizing or within range of doing so. May all who approach with aggression or misrepresentation or fundamental projection or attunement to a hyper-technological empowered earth or any other such I pray for those who are suffering during this time of change. May you open to the faith and the love that is for you, that guides you. May you pray to trust this faith and love again and again in the face of your fears, your agonies, even. May love ignite you in the numb, in the terror of no feeling, in the misunderstanding of the call to die to who you have been, in the sickness that is brought to the surface by awakening. May there be love. In the terror that is present as an old way dies and a new one is born, be filled with love that you can trust. And may you allow your awareness to embrace, to expand, to transcend, to respect the divine feminine mother who we are within. She is laughing with great care. I'm going to dance, and I invite you to do so as well.